Hi, everybody. Dan Illman, Mike Beer. Friday's feature race at Del Mar's the graduation stakes for two-year-old Calbreds going 5.5 furlongs. It's carded as race number 6. Before we take a look at the field, check out those Timeform US past performances at DRF.com. Breakthrough PPs just got better. Learn more at DRF.com/TFUS. 101. Here's the field for the graduation. Some very promising two-year-olds in this group, Mike Beer, including the number 6, Lord Prancelot, who was a very impressive debut winner for Jeff Bondy, who knows what he's doing with these two-year-olds.
Yeah, there are a few horses in here who've looked pretty good winning so far, Dan. That Lord Prancelot's certainly one of those. He showed really good speed in his debut, got to the front and kicked on home. He was good. A lot of these horses, though, several of his rivals were also really good in their victories. It seems like a pretty interesting race.
Let's throw up the Timeform US pace projector. Well, perhaps taking it with a grain of salt, these horses are still trying to figure out who they are in terms of class, in terms of pace. Lord Prancelot, we know, has speed. Shady Appeal, the number 4, showed speed in his career debut before not getting away the best at Pleasanton in his most recent start. Mises Express, the number 2, far behind early, but as the LP designation, fastest late pace rating. It'll be interesting to see who actually grabs the lead, but you have to think that Lord Prancelot will be prominent when they turn for home.
Yeah, certainly he's going to come out of there running in here. But you're right. It's hard to project where these horses are going to be early. It feels like there could be 3 or 4 of them up there looking for the lead. The good thing about this race, Dan, because it's not always the case in these early or earlier two-year-old stakes races sprinting, there are already a couple of horses in here who've shown that they're perfectly comfortable racing without the lead and still kicking on home.
The number 1, Refocus, looked good and earned a solid Beyer speed figure, winning his debut against Calbreds, then was far from embarrassed against Open Company last time out. Third in the Phasic Tipton Futurity, finishing ahead of a horse that came back to place in a maiden with a 69 Beyer speed figure. I think he has some sneaky speed, and he's going to be close from the rail draw.
I agree with you. I really liked his debut. He had good speed in that race. I liked the way he held his position in there and then kicked away from that field in the stretch. He was pretty impressive winning first time out. Maybe it was just too tough for him last time, Dan. The Open Stakes race, the winner of that race was 20-1, but man, was he good in there. 83 Beyer. He never gave that field a chance, and this horse, all he could do was chase him.
The 2 Mises Express has got plenty of experience. This is going to be start number 6 already for this 2-year-old, and he pulled off a 32-1 shocker at Del Mar. Didn't run like a 32-1 shot. He got a great race flow. They were going hot and heavy up front. He saved ground. He got to the outside, and he's able to kick home strongly to win. He got a very respectable Beyer speed figure, and he's going to be hoping for a similar pace situation here.
Yeah, I like the way that he stepped up a little bit in this race. It did work out for him as far as the trip goes, but he finishes up really nicely. It's also worth noting that it was over this racetrack, and it's the best race he's ever run by far. So maybe that's a good sign for him as well. He's going to need some pace, but he might get it.
Number 3, Last Call London, was one of the more visually impressive winners of this group when he scored 2 starts back at Santa Anita going 5/8 of a mile. They tried stakes competition in the Everett Nevin, and I think it's probably fair to draw a line through that race. He didn't break very well, and he actually still passed some horses in the stretch.
Yeah, I agree with you. I would be a little lenient on him for that most recent start. He stumbled really bad at the start of that race and just wound up way far out of it. He actually made a little bit of a run through the stretch there. It wasn't a terrible performance. Like you, I thought he looked really good winning 2 starts back without the lead, which could be key in here. He's a horse he seems like he's very comfortable rating early and then still finishing in his races, and that could be key in here.
Shady Appeal was the beaten favorite in that race at Pleasanton. He was favored based on a very impressive debut victory, breaking from the inside over Calbreds at Santa Anita. Now he drew the rail again at Pleasanton, didn't break quickly, and just didn't seem that interested after that. I like him getting off the inside. I think he'll be forwardly placed. Mike Smith takes the call this time around.
Yeah, he's a tough call in this race to me. I don't know what to do with him. I thought he was okay winning first time out, where he just got basically loose on the lead and nobody really did anything behind him. I looked at that race a couple of times, the most recent start, to see what his excuse would be. I didn't see it then. He just never picked his feet up.
The 5 is Smoke 'em Easy. This horse made his career debut back in May, and we're going to watch that race right now going 4.5 furlongs. He didn't break very well, but he shows a little bit of moxie and professionalism. The horse on the lead drifts. He alters course in between horses to split. And as you can see, he's a pretty good looking physical. He looks like a big, strong 2-year-old. He finishes this off pretty well. The fourth place horse came back to place in a maiden special with a 66 buyer. He's going to have to improve a bit from a buyer standpoint, but I think he's got plenty of upside.
I really don't have anything to add to that, Dan. I can't argue with any of it. He looked really good to me winning first time out, and he did it. Another one, he did it without the lead. Yeah, things opened up for him there at the top of the stretch, but he did what he was supposed to do. He was impressive running through the wire there.
Lord Prancelot was simply faster than 9 others at a big price in this race at Del Mar. Only 13 days ago for trainer Jeff Bondy, went right to the lead, and he just keeps on rolling along. This is a good effort. He got a 61 buyer speed figure, something to build off of. I'm expecting that he'll face a little bit more pace pressure this time around, but he looks fast.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, maybe none of this matters. It does feel like this is going to be a much tougher race for this horse. When you go back and pull the replay of that one, he just went right to the front in there. He was faster than those horses early. He's 12-1. The horse that finished second to him was second all the way around the track chasing him. He was 15-1. Neither one of them got any respect, but nobody else did anything. I don't really want to knock this horse too much because he looked good winning, and they're coming right back quickly in here, which is probably a really good sign for him. But I just want to wait and see what kind of prices. I don't want too short a price on this horse.
While Lord Prancelot was a big price in his debut, the 7 Salsation was favored against open $50,000 maiden claimers at Los Alamitos. He only faced 4 other horses in this race, but he showed good speed, opened up turning into the stretch, and he has to fight in the last 16th of a mile and is pretty game to get it done.
Yeah, I actually wanted to give him a little extra credit for this too, Dad, because it is a maiden claiming race, so who knows, maybe it's just a weak field, but this horse takes a pretty big run at him down the outside. This horse has all the momentum. It looks like he's going to go right by here and beat this horse, but Salsation, to his credit, just digs in and fights back here to get the job done. I gave him a little extra credit for that. This is still a tough spot for him.
Wild Jules is down from Pleasanton. He won his debut there very impressively. Then he finished second in the Everett Nevin. This is a race where he was kind of outpaced by the winner on the turn. It looks like at this point he's just going to tire. To his credit, he will hold second and hold sway in between horses. He did improve his buyer to a 63. This is a good outside attack post position. It's too early to say whether Wild Jules is at his best when he's on the lead. I think he's going to be sitting in a prime stalking position here, and we'll find out if he's good enough.
Yeah, true enough. I mean, there's nothing wrong with that performance. The only thing I didn't like about that race that we just watched there, Dan, especially for him because he didn't really have any excuse at all, is the horse that won the race was a first-time starter who just didn't take any money at all. I don't like that he didn't even come close to that horse, but we'll see. Maybe that horse will turn out to be really good.
Let's take a look at our top picks for the graduation at Del Mar on Friday. Mike, you're going with a 3 Last Call London. Very visually impressive for Peter Miller. 2 starts back, had an excuse for last time. I think he'll be a solid price here.
I thought he'd be a fair price. I like that he doesn't need the lead to be effective, Dan, and I'm just going to give him an excuse for that last one because he did stumble badly at the start.
Smoke 'em Easy beat open maidens in his career debut. Looks like a big, strong 2-year-old. Hope he breaks a little bit better from the gate. He didn't break so great in his debut, but I like that they've given him some time to mature, maybe grow into that big body. 5278 for me, 3167 for Mike. It's the graduation at Del Mar on Friday. Best of luck.